probably best to start off by introducing ourselves. So Alice, do you want to kickstart?
Of course. So obviously I'm Alice, not Louise. But so I'm basically a talent acquisition specialist. So I started as a management trainee last June. So I've been with the business nearly a year. So it's nearly been my kind of anniversary. And then after about kind of 8 or 9 months, I've obviously started this secondment doing talent acquisition, so kind of on the same level but moved into like a different department. So obviously supporting Louise with things, all kind of things, recruitment and stuff, looking for the very best talent for enterprise. And obviously I'm up in Scotland, if you can tell from my sort of Scottish accent. And and I'm obviously happy to be here and answer all questions about everything, really.
Amazing, thank you so much, Alice. So yeah, I am Louise. Everyone will know that name by now, I think. I'm a talent acquisition marketing specialist. So similar to what Alice does, but more so on the marketing side. So I do all of the marketing for northeast of England. So that's everywhere from Newcastle all the way down to Nottingham, marketing our opportunities, talking to our students and recruiting the best diverse talent. So that is a little bit about us. So let's jump straight in. Obviously, you may know enterprise is the world's largest global transportation industry. And we are actually now the largest rental car company in the world as well, but we are a lot more than that. So a lot of people will be here today because you have applied or you're thinking of applying. So now is the time to ask any questions and obviously have a listen to what me and Alice are chatting about today. And hopefully it'll give you a bit more clarity on what it is that we are all about. So starting off with some facts and statistics. Now I'm a nerd, so I love facts and statistics. This is always my favourite slide. So a little bit about us. We turn over $22.5 billion of annual revenue a year across 9,500 plus fully staffed global branches. We are in the UK, Europe, USA, so we are everywhere. We are the USA's 12th largest private company according to Forbes. And if you're on Forbes, it must be true. So there you go. We're on Forbes. We've made it. We're across 100 countries with 1.7 million plus vehicles, and that is always growing. And we have 80,000 wonderful employees across the world. So we are a massive, massive global transportation industry. There are a lot of different strands of enterprise, not only just car rental. And beyond that, we are one of the largest recruiters of talented university graduates in the UK. So we are primarily known for recruiting graduates on our graduate programme, which we will go on to chat a little bit more about towards the end of this presentation. So if you are a graduate and you're looking for a graduate programme, enterprise is the place to be. So enterprise are very passionate about local communities, and one of our founding values is strengthening our neighbourhoods one community at a time. We try and make sure that we dedicate a lot of our time to work in our local communities for non-profit organisations, social enterprises, charities, and it is something that enterprise are very, very proud and passionate to support. Now we have a couple of different things that we actually have in place at the moment. So one of them is called Roots and Roots, which is a $30 million 5-year donation to the Nature Conservancy to support water resource management initiatives across North America and Europe. So that is one thing that we are doing across there. We also have the Enterprise 50 Million Tree Pledge, which is a $50 million contribution to plant trees across public lands, again in North America and Europe. And we also have the Road Forward initiative, which is in the autumn of 2020. We backed our commitment to diversity and inclusion by launching a major multi-year philanthropic initiative that we call Road Forward. Now, ROAD stands for Respect, Opportunity, Achievement, and Diversity. What it is we've decided to spend $25 million over the next 5 years to make sure that we are supporting our local communities as best as we can. We also have the Enterprise Fill Your Tank initiative, which is another pledged $65 million investment to address food insecurity across the world. We've actually at this moment contributed at least $50 million to fight hunger in local communities across the world. So again, it just shows how much that we do put back into our communities all across the world, not just in the locations where we are located. And finally, one of the really exciting things that we do offer to all employees is a My Purpose, My Time day. which is actually a paid day for all staff members to go and do some sort of charity work in their local communities, and that is a paid day as well. So again, we're rewarding our employees for helping their communities. Alice, obviously you've just come out of rental. What sort of activities and any events did your branches get involved in with local charities? Any fundraisers, anything like that?
Yeah, one of the really big things, obviously, it's so important that, we kind of make positive change within our kind of communities, because we're on every corner. We have that opportunity to kind of be a big have a big place within each and individual kind of community. So obviously up in Scotland, in the Edinburgh area, one of the things we did over Christmas was the kind of shoebox initiative, where obviously you fill shoeboxes full of loads of kind of things, basically to make Christmases for people that are really struggling. So we filled it with even just toiletries and stuff, toys, toiletries, stationery, really just for families that are maybe in desperate need. And obviously with COVID and everything, a lot of people are struggling in terms of work and really struggling to support themselves. So we wanted to, obviously, every branch kind of got a few boxes together of different things. We all kind of donated stuff, collected it from friends and family, and then obviously circulated these boxes out to people in need. So the idea was just to kind of, bring back that positive change within the community and just support people that are really struggling. So that was one of the really big, most recent initiatives that I was part of. That was just in December there. So, but yeah, that's one of the great things is obviously we do try and make a positive impact on a bigger scale, but then also just like in each community that we're kind of a part of, which is one of the things that attracted me to Enterprise.
Absolutely. And that's why we always talk about this in these presentations. It's because it's such an important thing, giving back and helping the community when you are such a big corporate company. And that's one of the things that we're lucky enough to be able to do. Mm-hmm. I know that when I transitioned out of rental a couple of months ago, we did a load of like raffles, how many sweets are in the jar. And funnily enough, actually, funny story, I organised both of them in my last branches and I won both of them as well. And people were convinced that it was rigged. And I would just like to say it was not rigged. I just genuinely was very lucky.
It's a fix.
I know it's a fix. But we did, raffles for children in need. We did a lot of, like I say, guests of sweets. We did a lot of football things for Red Nose Day, that kind of thing. So every branch will get involved some way in helping to contribute towards the community. So yeah, a really exciting thing that Enterprise are part of. Now, this slide here, probably one of our proudest slides, is all of the awards, or a selection of some of the awards that Enterprise have won over the last couple of years. We have actually just been listed in the top 50 employers for women for the 17th consecutive year in a row, which is just an amazing achievement. And as obviously a female in business, that is something that really, really drew me to Enterprise initially, was that they are an equal opportunities employer and a massive employer for women as well. So really, really passionate about that. And we're making sure that everyone does have a seat at our table. We want to make sure that we are an equal opportunities employer, which we are really proud to say that we are. And we want to make sure that we recruit a diverse workforce of people, to make sure that we are getting loads of different opinions, that we have a lot of different cultures, people from all different strands of communities in our workforce, because it keeps things fresh, it keeps things exciting, and it makes sure that everybody is able to express themselves and be their authentic selves. Open dialogue is really important at Enterprise. It's why we were introduced the diversity councils and the forum in 2020. This way, it means that we can have open and honest conversations about the issues that diverse groups face at Enterprise. You do have mentors at Enterprise as well when you're on the graduate programme. So you will make sure that alongside your team, you do also have someone there to support you throughout your career, not just whilst you're on the programme, but facilitating your career onwards from that as well. Alice, did you have a mentor?
Yeah, I've had a couple of mentors, but both of them have been kind of women, which is really nice because, like you say, having that representation of female leadership and women in rental is really important. And they were like kind of inspirational as well as like really good mentors in terms of where I wanted to take my career. So yeah, I've had a couple myself.
That's great. I mean, mentors, as much as it's nice to have an excuse to go for a coffee and a chat and get away from work for a little bit, it's also nice to have that support, isn't it? And yeah, that's definitely something that we want to make sure is that anybody can come and work for us and they will be supported through that as well. And moving on here, just a couple of photos here to show just some of the work that we have been involved in over the last couple of years. As mentioned in the last slide, diversity and inclusion is central to everything that we do at Enterprise, and it's defined as the many qualities and characteristics that make someone unique. And that's what we want. We want a massive bunch of really unique people to bring everything they have to the table and make our workforce the best that it can possibly be. As well as that, an inclusive workforce helps our company to attract and retain the best talent in the market as well. We participate not only in events sort of programmed towards people of ethnic minorities, it's also people of the LGBTQ plus community, people that have learning or physical difficulties. So we are an equal opportunities employer, and we want to make sure that everybody, as mentioned in the previous slide, has a seat at our table. Alice, what does diversity mean to you, would you say? What do you think it is at Enterprise?
I think diversity, I think one of the big things is obviously it starts from the beginning. You know, when we bring people on, we want to make sure that we have people from every kind of background, you know, from different like ethnic backgrounds, but different kind of, you know, even the way that you're raised and stuff, the different kind of circumstances. We want people, because at the end of the day, you know, we're such a people-centric company that it's important that the people we have within the company represent what the population is, and having people from all sorts of backgrounds. And like you say, we are inclusive of people from LGBTQ plus kind of who are obviously part of that community, and obviously we're keen allies to that as well. And I think it's just about having a really diverse workforce that you get the opinions and perspectives of loads of different people. And I think, you know, facing the customers as well, you want to make sure that everybody feels welcome, and when they come obviously to our branches and stuff, they feel welcome and they feel like it's an inclusive environment, and that starts from who you hire. And I think that's one of the great things that I've seen is that management and you know, you always wonder about joining a big company, is that actually going to be, can you see that on a daily level, can you see that in an actual branch level, where you can, you know, if you go into any branch, you'll see that we are an inclusive hirer, and you know, it's really important that everybody feels welcome and everybody's supported and listened to. You know, everybody's voice matters, and I think that to me is what inclusivity is and diversity is, and you need to see it on a day-to-day level, which is what you do with an enterprise. And obviously these are just snapshots of a really bigger picture that's a really big focus for enterprise, and I think that's really, it's been again another thing that attracted me to enterprise when I first started. So that would be I would say that's what my opinion is on the matter.
Amazing. No, I mean, I couldn't have summarized it better myself. That was fab. And I think you mentioned something really nice there about, even though we are a bigger corporate company, we do still offer that level of support for each and every one of our individual employees, which sometimes bigger companies get a bad rep in that sometimes employees can feel like they're lost a little bit in that big system. But as you mentioned, Enterprise are so passionate about making sure that everyone is supported and mentored, not only just in the first stages of your career, but no matter how high up you get, you always have that support. So yeah, it is a really, really unique thing that Enterprise offer. So going on to our management training programs, this will probably be why a lot of people are here today, because you've either applied, like I said, or you're thinking about applying for our management training program. The unique thing about Enterprise, and we will go on to this a little bit later on, but everybody starts on this scheme. So I started on it, Alice started on it, our CEO started on it. And it's a really good way for everyone to learn everything about the business with some hands-on training in a local branch, and then they can take that further up their career. Perfect. Oh, we've got lots of moving things on the screen. I'm not used to all these PowerPoint things. Right, so here we go. At Enterprise, when you join us as a management trainee, you'll get the support you need to become one of our future leaders. We'll give you real responsibility from the first day, which empowers you to gain real-world experience. But by the end of the program, you'll also have transformed your career into a professional. You'll be one of our managers, and that is one of the really exciting things that Enterprise do, is that the second that you finish that program, you are eligible for promotion in management, or like me and Alice have done, you can sidestep out into different areas of the business that do interest you. But primarily people tend to stay on our graduate program and work their way up in management. We hire people that have the ambition to match ours, and then teach them absolutely everything they need to know in order to run the business without us. So the second that you finish that management program, you're pretty much given the keys to that branch, and they say, go ahead, go run it. So we teach you customer service, sales, marketing, HR, accounting, finance, everything encompassed in that training program. And then when that training program is up, which we say takes about 10 months to complete roughly, but it is tailored to you, you are then eligible to go on to be assistant manager, branch manager, and then so on. Alice, how did you find your training program? What was it, in particular that you enjoyed? Did you feel like you got that support whilst you were doing your folder?
I would say that it's kind of the way that you're enabled to progress quite quickly because, I'd worked in kind of supermarket retail prior to this. And I think it's one of those things you feel as though with management and stuff, it's kind of like a curtain you can't see behind. You're not going to be exposed to everything. You're not going to be shown like the profitability of a business. You're not going to be shown these things. It's kind of like out of your remit. You're not allowed to be shown that. And what I think I loved was that from day one, they show you every part. There's no part of the business you're not exposed to, and they enable you to like learn it and actually develop your ability to do it independently. And that was one of the things that I just thought was so cool, that from day one you're given a project, you're given a leadership position within the branch. I was given customer service, and they basically said, make it your own, make the changes you want to make, let's make customer service good, how can we do that? And I got to kind of lead the team from quite early on and show them the direction I thought customer service should be taken in. So you can take experiences you have and bring it straight away into the branch and be given that kind of power in a way, which is really, it enables you and it grows you as a person and builds your confidence. And it's just a great opportunity to do that. I don't think any other program is going to give you that kind of power so quickly to kind of develop, which is, second to none.
Absolutely. I think the good thing about it as well is quite often you're working in a branch with 5, 6, 7 people. So it is quite an intimate team, and there really is the time for that targeted development and time to really progress your career within that small team, as well as having the support of your mentor, as you mentioned earlier. So like Alice just said, with captaincies, that's a really great point, is pretty much from the start, you're given something that you are in charge of. Obviously, you have that help and support with that captaincy, so you're not expected to go in and just immediately know exactly what we're talking about. You are given that training. Yeah. But like Alice mentioned, it's really nice because it gives you that sense of responsibility. Those captaincies are rotated quite often, so it gives you the chance to learn and be in charge of very specific areas of the business throughout that training program. So yeah, we really want to help facilitate your development by giving you as much responsibility, but not with it being overloading, and making sure that you have that help and support as well. Perfect. So looking into a little bit into what skills you'll learn whilst you are on the management training program. There's so many different skills that you will learn, but these are just sort of a little snapshot in some of the things that you can learn whilst you're with us at Enterprise. So number one, communication. Now, I don't know about you, Alice, but I would argue this is maybe the most important one, just because we're customer service based.
Yeah, literally. And even speaking to your colleagues, if you can't do that, you're going to struggle. But I'm sure, you're developed to do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, communication is one of the biggest ones. We'll be communicating with customers, not only for people that are coming to rent vehicles because they're going on holiday, but maybe in tricky situations when they've maybe broken down and they need a courtesy vehicle. Or you might be dealing with big businesses like Sainsbury's, Morrison's, and organising cars for them as well. So communication is a big one. Actually, now I've seen this one, maybe this one's more important. It's hard to know.
Let's say that about each one.
Customer service. So yeah, hands down, customer service is one of the most important things that you'll learn. It's not a policy, it's not a gimmick. It really is who we are, and we are known for providing world-class customer service. So that is one of the things that we will teach you, and it is preferable that you do have some customer service experience before you come into the role, just because we like people to have worked in that environment, and then we can teach you what it means at Enterprise. Time management, I'm sure Alice can agree with me here as well. It's a very fast-paced, quick environment, the customer service industry. Because you are given those responsibilities, it is really important that you do have good time management. Again, I think a lot of people learn at university time management. Maybe people have juggled part-time work with your degree, or even just juggling a degree with having a social life is sometimes hard. So you will probably have some aspect of time management. So if you do get to the interview stage, you can tailor that to explain how it is that you've managed to get those time management skills, but something that is really important at Enterprise. Leadership, again, super important. We are recruiting people because we want them to be the next best leaders. So it is imperative that you have had some sort of leadership role. Now, again, it doesn't mean that you have to have been a team leader or a manager. We understand that's hard to get that kind of work experience alongside university, but you can talk about any group work that you've maybe done at university. If you've been a part of any sports teams, it's all really, really important stuff that can lead towards being a good leader. Emotional intelligence. So this helps to grow your ability to understand where other people are coming from and empathize with them. So I think, Alice, would you agree this kind of goes hand in hand with customer service, really?
Definitely. I think it's one of
Yeah.
those key skills that like a lot of people don't realize they necessarily have. But I think when you're given the support and stuff to kind of develop loads of skills like communication and customer service, it's one of those things that you kind of develop at the same time. And it's a great skill to have it just in life in general, to be honest.
Exactly. We've all had to deal with a tricky customer before, and the customer's always right. And emotional intelligence is one of the biggest things that the enterprise will teach you. Bit more specific now, sales and marketing. So there is a sales element to our role, and there is obviously a marketing element to the role as well. So enterprise will teach you how to build relationships with local businesses, to get to know our brands and how to talk to them and have these professional conversations. And there are also sales and marketing strategies that are vital to our growth and success. So a bit more specific, but you will learn those skills. And me and Alice are now sort of in more specialized roles, but I don't think you had any previous experience in your role, Alice. It was sort of enterprise that developed you, and then you managed to sidestep across, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I'd done kind of marketing at uni, but I hadn't had any kind of actual work experience in marketing at all. So it's one of those things that, you know, you're able to kind of do just on the job day to day while you're at kind of at enterprise, which is really cool.
Yeah, same for me as well. I did psychology, so you couldn't get further off from marketing and sales, really. But that's the good thing about enterprise, is we do genuinely teach you all these things. So yeah, a big skill that enterprise will teach you is marketing and sales. Problem solving, so seeing problems that arise and challenges that need solutions, again, goes hand in hand with the customer service industry. Sometimes there is a problem, sometimes you do have to fix that problem, and it is your responsibility to do so. So problem solving is something that you will get super good at. The adaptability, so being able to adapt to any and every situation, because obviously there is a lot that can change throughout the day at enterprise. As I've already mentioned, we are a very quick, fast-paced environment. We do deal with customers. A lot of our business is in courtesy vehicles and insurance. So again, working in a volatile situation where somebody may have broken down or they need help at the roadside. So again, adaptability is really important. Being able to be flexible in these situations is very important. So we're going to move on to the management trainee career path. This gives you a little bit of an idea into your sort of standard route. So Alice, I don't know if you want to talk us through your journey again briefly and how it sort of looks on this map, and then I'll do the same for me.
Yeah, no, of course. So obviously I started as a management trainee last June, so that's obviously kind of the first rung of the kind of ladder or route or whatever you want to kind of call it. So I worked there as a management trainee for about, I think it was 8 months potentially, and I've kind of obviously had the opportunity to work in a couple of branches as well, which is important because you get an experience, you know, that you're kind of given the opportunity if you want to kind of try different branches and obviously have a bit of experience and exposure to different people. And then about 8 months, and obviously the opportunities came up to work at talent acquisition on a secondment. So technically I'm still kind of the management trainee level, but I've moved laterally into a different department, looking at a different kind of specialty and gaining that kind of experience. So that's where about roughly I am on the kind of pathway.
Perfect. And yeah, again, really unique than the enterprise does. You can do what Alice has done and kind of move in, move out into different departments if you feel like there's a department that really takes your interest and you want to gain a little bit more experience in that. There is the opportunity for you to move across and then move back. You know, we try and be as flexible as possible with that. My journey is slightly a bit more, I say traditional, but I mean, nothing's really traditional. It's just the route that most people tend to take. So again, same as Alice, I started as a management trainee back in August 2019. So still a baby with the company, really, still less than 3 years. After completing my management program, I went on to be promoted to assistant branch manager of one of my local branches. Did that for about 10 months, and then this position came up, and then I sidestepped across into marketing. So yeah, pretty standard route up the management ladder, and then sidestepped across into something that I felt really interested me. Perfect. So the application process. At the moment, the way the application process looks is you do an online application, which can be found via our website, which is in the bottom left hand of the screen for the duration of the presentation. You can go on there, view our vacancies, see which location is closest to you, click quick apply, and then fill out that online application. Providing that you've got our basic criteria, which is a full UK driver's licence and the right to work in the UK, you'll get passed on to a virtual interview, which is an interview with a member of our team, like me or Alice, or the rest of our candidate management team, just asking you a couple of competency-based questions and getting to know you a little bit. And then the final stage is actually a branch visit, which is quite a unique thing, I think. I don't know if many companies really offer this, but we give the opportunity to go into a local branch for a couple of hours just to meet the team, see what the job is like, and then you'll have a short interview with the area manager at the back end of that. And then obviously, providing that you like us and we like you, you'll be offered a job from there. I don't know if you can give any little tips for the branch visit, Alice, if anyone gets up to that sort of stage, or if you've been in a branch when someone's been in for a branch visit, and maybe give any tips.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one of the kind of biggest things when you go into a branch interview is that, you know, it's such a unique opportunity. Like you say, not a lot of times do you get to go into the actual context that you might be working in and actually meet the team, meet the people, and actually see firsthand what the role is. You know, because as we've said, you know, the role is a really dynamic one. It's fast paced, and it's great to actually see what it looks like in person. So I think if you go to the branch, the best approach is just to jump in. Like you say, it's only a couple of hours, so you really just want to make the most of the time. You know, I my kind of approach was to go in and just ask loads of questions. You know, you're not going to annoy anybody. That's the whole purpose of the visit, is to go and ask people questions. You know, even if you come with some prepared or you think of ones while you're there, ask everybody the questions. And I think it actually looks more proactive as well to go in and actually want to know more, want to ask these questions. So, you know, you're never going to annoy anyone or be in the way. You just have to be really proactive and ask questions, and even shadow people. You know, if a customer comes in and people are serving customers, just ask, can I shadow you? Can I see what you're doing? Nobody's going to ever say no. So, you know, just never think that you're in the way. Just ask questions, shadow people, and also take a little bit of what you learn into your interview, because it shows that kind of learning of, I see what the role is and I like it and I want to bring that into my interview, and talk about things that you've learned on the day and just bring it all into practice. And I think that's probably the best approach, and they'll just be looking to see how passionate you are, and that's something you can easily take and bring across just, you know, within a couple of hours in a branch. So it's a great opportunity, so definitely jump in and make the most of it, as my tips.
So, you know, that's great, Alice, thank you. And I mean, I can just mirror what Alice says, really, that communication, getting involved as much as possible, showing that you're keen. We don't want you to come in and, you know, shy away in a corner. We want you to get your personality across. Again, be your authentic self, and just let that personality shine. And then I'm sure that everything else will come from that. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. So you can follow us on our social media channels. So we are across Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and we do also have a collection of videos on our YouTube channel as well. So all of these series are recorded alongside some bite-sized webinars that we do on a Wednesday that cover employability hints and tips as well. So if you are looking for a little bit of help and support with regards to any application writing, CV building, or if you've grabbed a graduate job and you want some help and tips for your first day, there are a lot of videos over on there to help you along the way with that one. And I just want to open the floor up to any questions now to see if anyone has any questions for myself or Alice. You can either pop it in the chat or you can just chat away.
Hi, please, I have a question.
Yeah, of course. Go
Good
ahead.
morning.
Morning.
Okay, so I just wanted to know, for those of us that have done the application and we haven't heard from you guys, how long would this take?
So that was with, if you fill out the application, you're waiting to hear back about the first stage of the interview?
Yes, because nothing has come back since after the application was submitted. Okay,
perfect. Alice, do you know more about the timeline of how long it can take roughly?
Yeah, definitely. When did you kind of submit your application? What was it, today or yesterday, or?
I think that was in that was April.
Oh, in April.
Yeah.
I can have a little look. I'll put my email in the chat if you want to drop me a little email, and I can follow up and see what the status is with your application. Usually you get quite a quick response within like a couple of days. And we in the talent team as well will usually kind of keep quite a close eye on applications. So if you've not heard anything, I don't know whether it's worth checking your junk mail. Maybe sometimes there's quite a tight filter on emails and like interview invites can kind of come through and go straight into the junk mail. So check that, and I'll put my email in the chat, and you can kind of drop me an email and we'll sort it out. I'll have a little look into it for you.
All right, that's fine. Thank you.
No worries.
We've got another question in the chat here. What are the opportunities for accounting and finance graduates? Enterprise don't ask for specific degrees. We don't ask for people to come from a business background. Like I mentioned, I'm from a psychology, so social science background. So you don't have to have had a degree in business or a corresponding degree to that to be able to apply for our program. So in terms of opportunities for accounting and finance graduate, you would be a perfect candidate for our graduate program. There isn't sort of any direct routes at the start straight into accounting or finance. Everyone starts in that graduate program and then works their way up from there. But obviously it's a great opportunity for you to grow those skills, get more confident. And then once you've completed that graduate program, you can then go on to potentially look at sidestepping across into any accounting or finance roles that we may have at our head office or home working. And we've got another question here. I applied for an extension for last assignments at university with date set for end of July, meaning I'm not due to graduate until November of this year. How would this affect me applying for management training? Alice, do you want to go in this one? I don't think it does affect at all, but you can answer away.
Yeah, no, I would say in terms of, obviously, if you've applied for university, I don't know if you've already kind of applied for the management trainee role. Usually I would say probably in all, the whole process of application takes a few weeks. So I would probably say that when it's kind of approaching the time when you're going to graduate, maybe that's when you want to start looking to apply. So that obviously once you've kind of completed university, then obviously if you were successful, you can kind of go straight into the role. I think, starting the application now might be a little bit premature. So I would probably recommend holding off a little bit until you know exactly when you'll be finishing university, and then maybe just starting a few weeks prior to that, just so that you can get kind of through the process. And obviously once you've graduated and finished with university, then you can kind of go into the role. Usually that's what I recommend, also because it's obviously a full-time role. You couldn't really do it coinciding with studies, so you want to make sure that you've got your studies kind of finished, and then you can go straight into the role if you want. That's what I did. And so I'd probably wait a little bit longer, maybe just apply in the kind of October time, something like that.
Great answer. I've got another one here from Michael. Unsuccessful due to answering the interview, but really passionate about the role. Would I be able to reapply? When was it that you previously applied for the role, Michael? Was it recently or was it quite a while ago? I don't know if you can pop in the chat there or let us know. Recently. April. We can definitely have a little look into your application, see what it was that maybe the issue was, and then get in touch with you again. We've got Alice's email, and then I'll pop my email in the chat as well. If you want to email one of us directly after this session, we can have a little look into the interview notes and see if there's any sort of help and advice we could give you and when you can reapply. And I think we've got another one here. We've got time for a few more questions. So when will the applications close? So we actually recruit all year round. We don't sort of have any end date to our applications. Our summer internships and our 1-year placements are a little bit more selective. So if you're looking for an internship or a placement, they normally go live sort of January, February, and then filled quite quickly. But in terms of our graduate management program, we recruit all year round for that. So again, if you head over to the website, I think Sam's popped a link in the chat, and again, it was on the presentation as well. You can have a little look at all of our current locations on there. There'll definitely be one that is close to you, and then you can apply from there. I was going to say we've got Louise asking a question, and I realised that that everyone's called Louise.
1 of 10.
How long is the management trainee program? I think I mentioned it kind of briefly in the presentation. It's completely tailored to you. we say it takes about 10 months to complete, but it's completely tailored to how quickly and, you know, how fast that you want to grow and progress. Alice, how long did it take you to do the program, or are you still on the...
Yeah, well, technically I would still be kind of a management trainee, so in a sense I've not completely kind of completed it, but like you say, you know, people come and do it really quickly. I think one of my assistant managers became an assistant manager within like 7 months, which is super, super fast. And like you say, it's completely based around you. If you come in with the right kind of momentum and ambition, like there's no reason you can't progress even faster than that. You know, it's just up to you. Really.
Absolutely. And there's no pressure on it as well. So you can, you know, if you're the sort of person that's really ambitious and you want to get it finished really quickly, that is completely up to you. We don't want people to do work outside of work. So everything to do with the training program is completed within working hours. So we wouldn't want you to go home and, you know, be doing work. But if you want to push yourself in your working hours and get that training program done quicker, absolutely. But the same end of the stick, if you maybe want to take a little bit longer to learn and to grow in certain areas, or if you get towards your assessment date and you maybe feel a little bit unconfident in some certain areas, there's nothing stopping you from postponing it. You know, there's no stress, and it is completely tailored to you as well. So on average about 10 months, but it is completely relative to how you want to structure it. We've got a good question here. Would it be possible to organise a visit to my local branch prior to applying, see how you guys work and the environment, etc.? Now, I don't believe that this is something that Enterprise do at the moment. It is definitely a really good point, and maybe something that we should look at doing in the future. To my knowledge, that isn't something that we've done in the past. But obviously, if you apply and you get to that branch visit stage, you will get the chance to see the branch firsthand before you decide to go ahead with your application any further. So you do have the opportunity to do that branch visit if you're successful in that stage. But to my knowledge, at the moment, there isn't any opportunity for sort of any work experience days or a chance to go into the branch, unless there's something I don't know about, Alice.
No, that's right enough. But we also have, obviously, I put my email in there. I do have kind of time each day that I take to kind of speak to candidates and stuff. So if you want to drop me an email, and I can set up a kind of like quick 15-minute call, and I can, if you just want a better insight into the role, obviously because I was quite a recent management trainee, we can set up a little call appointment, speak for 15 minutes or so, and then, you know, I can give you a bit of a better insight, albeit it'll be over the phone, but I can give you a little bit more of an insight into the role and what to expect, and a little bit of a kind of inside track in terms of what a day looks like and stuff. So we can set that up as well if you want to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely recommend people to take Alice up on that, because she's obviously just transferred out of Renton as well. So she'll have a great insight into how the program's being run at the moment. As well, we do also have a day in the life video up on YouTube. So it can give you a little bit of first-hand information as to what an average day at Enterprise looks like. It is quite an old video, but it is still quite relative to how it is at the moment. We are working on getting some new ones filmed that are a bit more up to date, but if you want to type in Enterprise Day in the Life, there is sort of like a Snapchat style video that you can view that might give you a little bit of a better insight into what would be expected day to day. So it's a nice informal way of being able to see what goes on. And we'll have time for a couple more questions, maybe squeeze in one or two. So what is the duration of the graduate management trainee? I think this is pretty similar to the one we just answered. With regards to sort of the timeline of a graduate management, is normally around that 10-month aspect. And then when you get to assistant manager, you're normally assistant manager for about a year and a half. Then you can go on to branch manager, and then obviously go on from there. So normally about 10 months to get to the graduate management. Sorry, skip my question. Could you put your question again there if I've missed it?
I think it might be the one that says, can you fail during the training?
Right. Can you fail during training? There isn't really a pass or a fail as such. It's more so just you talking about your experience, what it is that you've learned. Alice, I don't know if you've got any tips on this one. It's, to my knowledge, no one can really fail during the training. No, it's more so just talking about what you've learned.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can really fail. I think in the sense that, like you said, you know, it's all about like the support and mentorship, because everybody comes through the same role. Everybody knows and understands what you're going through when you start, your nervousness, and obviously coming into a new role and stuff. So, you know, management is incredibly helpful. They're there to support you and show you what they know, what they've learned over their time in the business. So there's not really a case where you could fail, because it's at your own pace. You develop as fast or as slow as you want to develop, and you're being supported all the way by like management and stuff, and even your colleagues, people that have maybe even been in the business a month or two longer than you, they'll have gained so much knowledge and insight. There's the support network is really, really there for you, and I don't think there's really a way that you could fail. And obviously you're just completing and working on your kind of projects and stuff while you're in the branch, so you can get help with them as you're kind of going and stuff and ask questions. So it's not really a case of pass or fail, it's more just develop it at your own pace, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And as well, it's worth mentioning that the program itself is sort of split into stages. So stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll have meetings with your branch manager and your area manager for each of those stages as well. So that will give the management the time to go over anything that they feel like maybe you need to progress in a little bit more, or if there's something, it gives you the chance to say if you need some extra support in a certain area. And then normally what we do is those issues would arise in the stage meetings, and then you would have however many months in between that stage meeting and the next one to work on that particular thing that it is that you need that extra development on, with the help of your mentors and your team as well. So everything's broken up into really manageable stages, and then you can get the help and support from there. If you don't know something, you have to ask a question. Of course, we want you to ask questions. This is what we want, you know.
More the better, definitely.
Yeah, of course. You're not expected to go in and know everything about the environment. Asking questions is the way that you will learn. So yeah, I say that no question is ever a silly question. I think my managers, when I first started, were absolutely sick of how many questions I asked. I think I actually went through about 3 or 4 notepads whilst I was on my graduate program, because I was writing down everything. So yeah, absolutely, you're allowed to ask a question. And I think we're coming to the end of the session there now, but thank you so much everybody for joining. Alice and myself have both put our emails in the chat there, so any questions, like any burning questions regarding any applications, please do forward them over to myself or Alice, and we'll be more than happy to have a little look. But yeah, follow us on our socials. Please do click apply and reach out if you have any questions. And I hope everyone has a lovely Queen's Jubilee. And thank you so much, Alice, for joining me on this one today as well.
No worries. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
Thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the celebrations.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye now.